My friends, grains is not reserved for the few. It is available to the ones who are willing to claim it. Success does not arrive by chance. It is created by deliberate thought, unwavering discipline, and persistent action. If you desire to become the best at anything, you must embrace principles that shape champions, leaders, and creators. Let me share with 10 ways that can elevate you to mastery in any field of your choosing. To become the best at anything, the very first step is to know exactly what you want. Without a clear and definite purpose, life will scatter your energy in 100 directions, leaving you chasing everything but achieving nothing. Purpose is the compass that guides your steps, the flame that lights your path, and the fire that gives you strength when the night grows dark. When you fix your mind on a definite goal, the world around you begins to shift, aligning opportunities and people who can help you reach it. A strong purpose does not merely inspire you, it commands you. It pulls you forward with a force greater than any obstacle that dares to stand in your way. Faith in that purpose is your next great ally. Doubt will whisper that you are not ready, that the challenge is too great, that success belongs to others but not to you. If you listen, your dream will wither before it even takes root. But if you choose faith, unwavering and unshakable, you arm yourself with the most powerful weapon of all. Faith turns setbacks into lessons, rejections into redirections, and delays into preparation. It is the belief that no matter how long it takes, what you seek is already on its way to you, if only you hold on long enough to receive it. Yet faith cannot thrive in isolation. You must carefully choose the environment in which it grows. The company you keep will either lift you or drag you down. When you surround yourself with those who believe in growth, who challenge you to rise, who speak of vision rather than limitation, you step into a current that carries you forward. But if you remain among the fearful, the jealous, or the aimless, their weight will anchor you to mediocrity. The path to becoming the best is never walked alone. It is built upon alliances with those who inspire, support, and sometimes even push you further than you thought you could go. Discipline is the habit that transforms vision into reality. Dreams and goals are worthless without the daily effort to bring them alive. The best in any field are not merely talented, they are disciplined. They rise early when others sleep. They practice when others rest. They push forward when others quit. Discipline is the invisible hand that shapes the ordinary into the extraordinary. Without it, even the brightest flame of purpose will eventually burn out. With it, even the smallest spark can ignite into greatness. No journey to mastery is free of trials, and that is why persistence is the quality that separates the winners from the forgotten. Every setback is not a sign of failure, but a test of determination. Those who stop at the first rejection will never taste victory. But those who press on, who try again and again, discover that the obstacles which once seemed immovable were only illusions. Each defeat, if endured, refines your character, sharpens your skill, and prepares you for the triumph waiting just beyond the struggle. Persistence whispers, keep going, and those who listen eventually arrive at the peak where the best stand. And finally, while you strive for mastery, never lose the heart of gratitude. Gratitude is not simply saying thank you. It is an attitude that recognizes every opportunity, every lesson, every step forward as a gift. When you practice gratitude, you shift your mind from scarcity to abundance, and abundance attracts more of itself. It keeps you humble when you succeed and hopeful when you stumble. Gratitude makes the journey lighter, and it reminds you that greatness is not only measured by what you achieve, but by who you become in the process. With purpose, faith, the right company, discipline, persistence, and gratitude, you hold in your hands the timeless principles that can make you the best at anything you choose. Faith is the foundation on which every great achievement is built. Before a single step is taken, before a single victory is won, the mind must first be convinced that success is not only possible but inevitable. Doubt is the silent thief that robs more people of their dreams than failure ever could. Failure can teach, it can redirect, it can refine, but doubt paralyzes, it keeps a person from even trying. To rise to the top of anything, you must nurture a relentless faith that what you desire is within reach, no matter how far it may seem at the start. This kind of faith is not blind wishing. It is a conviction so strong that it shapes your thoughts, your actions, and even your habits. When your mind believes in the certainty of your success, your body follows in obedience. You begin to make choices that align with your vision. You attract opportunities that resonate with your purpose, and you take risks others are too fearful to attempt. Faith transforms obstacles into stepping stones because you no longer see them as barriers, you see them as part of the path to greatness. Every person who has ever achieved mastery began with this inner certainty. They may not have known how the journey would unfold, but they trusted that the way would be revealed as they walked. Faith fuels perseverance when nothing seems to work. It keeps you standing when the ground beneath you shakes, and it whispers to you in the silence when no one else believes. It is the unseen hand that lifts you beyond ordinary limits. Without faith, every setback feels final, every rejection feels personal, and every delay feels permanent. But with faith, setbacks are temporary, rejection is merely redirection, and delay becomes preparation for something even greater. Faith does not promise that the road will be easy. It promises that no matter how rough the road becomes, you will keep moving until you arrive at your destination. It transforms struggle into growth and turns adversity into fuel. The universe responds to conviction. When you decide with absolute certainty that you will succeed, doors begin to open that were once invisible. People, resources, and opportunities align in ways you could never have predicted, because unwavering belief acts like a magnet, drawing everything you need closer to you. What you hold firmly in your mind with faith eventually manifests in your reality, because persistence fueled by belief becomes unstoppable. To be the best at anything, you must believe a depth that cannot be shaken by circumstance. This faith must live not only in your words, but in your actions, in your habits, and in your resilience. Others may doubt, others may laugh, others may quit, but if you stand unshaken in your conviction, you will outlast them all. Faith is not a luxury. It is the very power that transforms an ordinary dreamer into an extraordinary achiever. The people you surround yourself with shape the way you think, act, and believe. Human beings absorb the energy, habits, and attitudes of those closest to them, whether consciously or unconsciously. If you are in the company of people who complain, doubt, or settle for mediocrity, you will slowly adopt their patterns, even if you never intended to. But if you place yourself among those who strive, who dream, who hold themselves to higher standards, their influence will lift you higher without you even realizing it. The environment you choose becomes the soil in which your potential grows, and poor soil can never produce strong fruit. Influence works in quiet but powerful ways. A word of encouragement from someone you admire can give you courage to attempt what once seemed impossible. A casual conversation with a visionary thinker can open your mind to ideas you had never considered. Likewise, constant negativity, criticism, or small thinking can eat away at your belief in yourself until your vision shrinks to match the limitations of those around you. To become the best at anything, you must carefully guard your environment, because it is impossible to rise when you are surrounded by those who refuse to move forward. Mentorship is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. A mentor does not just share knowledge, they shorten your learning curve by showing you what works, what fails, and how to avoid unnecessary mistakes. A great mentor not only teaches skill but also instills confidence, because they see potential in you that you may not yet see in yourself. When you align yourself with people who have walked the path you wish to travel, you borrow their wisdom and their courage until you have enough of your own. This is how ordinary individuals rise to extraordinary heights, through the guidance of those who have already achieved mastery. Your peers are just as important as your mentors. The right peers challenge you not through rivalry, but through example. When you see a friend striving relentlessly, improving daily, and refusing to quit, their energy becomes contagious. Their discipline pushes you to strengthen your own, their achievements remind you of what is possible, and their setbacks teach you lessons without you having to endure the same pain. A circle of determined peers becomes an invisible force, pulling each person higher because no one wishes to be left behind. Sometimes the greatest influence is not what people say, but what they silently demand. When you associate with those who accept nothing less than excellence, you will find yourself raising your standards without being asked. Mediocrity feels uncomfortable in the presence of greatness, and soon you either rise to meet the level of those around you or you remove yourself altogether. That is why it is vital to choose wisely. Your companions are either sharpening your edge or dulling your blade. In the end, success is never a solitary journey. Every person who becomes the best in their field has a network, whether large or small, of people who influence their path. Some offered guidance, some offered support, and others offered the push they needed at critical moments. By surrounding yourself with the right influences, mentors who guide, peers who inspire, and companions who believe, you create an environment where growth is inevitable. You cannot soar with eagles if you walk among those who crawl, and if you choose wisely, your circle will become the wings that carry you to greatness. Discipline is the hidden strength behind every success story. Many people dream, many people plan, but only those who practice discipline transform their vision into reality. It is not enough to know what you want. You must also control your time, your energy, and your habits in a way that aligns with your goal. Discipline is the power that keeps you moving forward when excitement fades, when distractions call, and when comfort tempts you to settle for less. Without it, even the brightest vision remains a fantasy. True discipline is not about punishment, it is about consistency. It is the repeated choice to do what is necessary, even when you do not feel like it. The athlete who trains daily, the writer who writes despite fatigue, the leader who studies when others relax. These are not acts of chance, they are acts of discipline. It is a daily commitment to small actions that seem insignificant in the moment, but compound into extraordinary results over time. Discipline also demands sacrifice. To rise above mediocrity, you must be willing to give up the easy pleasures that waste your potential. Comfort and growth cannot coexist. Every time you choose focus over distraction, practice over laziness, and effort over excuses, you build the muscle of discipline. This muscle grows stronger with every choice until it becomes second nature, guiding you automatically towards success. The disciplined individual understands that setbacks are not a reason to quit, but an opportunity to recommit. Self-control does not mean perfection, it means persistence in returning to your path when you wander. Each time you choose to rise after failing, you strengthen your willpower. Discipline is not about never stumbling, it is about never staying down. In the end, discipline is the bridge that carries you from desire to achievement. Talent without discipline fades. Intelligence without discipline drifts. Vision without discipline collapses. But when you anchor your dream to the steady force of discipline, you create a foundation so strong that nothing can shake it. Those who master themselves through discipline inevitably rise to master their craft, their circumstances, and their destiny. Persistence is the quiet force that separates those who dream from those who achieve. Many begin with enthusiasm, but when the road grows hard, they retreat. The truth is, every path to mastery is paved with setbacks, disappointments, and countless moments where quitting seems easier than continuing. Yet, those who persist, who refuse to stop regardless of circumstances, eventually find themselves standing where others gave up. Persistence is not a single act of willpower. It is the repeated decision to keep moving forward, no matter how slow the progress may feel. Each failure carries within it a lesson, and persistence allows you to extract that lesson instead of being crushed by the weight of defeat. The one who quits never discovers the wisdom hidden in their struggles, but the one who continues uncovers strength, creativity, and resilience that were invisible before. Every time you rise after a fall, you sharpen your ability to adapt, to adjust, and to grow stronger. What once seemed like an ending becomes the very foundation of a greater beginning. Persistence is also a test of faith. It demands that you continue long after the applause has faded, long after encouragement has disappeared, and long after the results have yet to show. It is the ability to plant seeds today, water them tomorrow, and keep tending to them even when no sprouts are visible. Those who persist understand that time is not their enemy, but their ally, for consistent effort over time yields results that sudden bursts of energy never could. The world often surrenders its treasures not to the most talented, but to the most determined. There are countless stories of men and women who were not the smartest, the strongest, or the most skilled, yet they became the best simply because they refused to give up when others walked away. Persistence outlasts doubt, it outlasts rejection, and it outlasts obstacles. In the end, the one who stays in the game long enough eventually wins. To become the best at anything, persistence must be your greatest weapon. Talent may open doors, but persistence keeps them open. Luck may give you a chance, but persistence turns it into lasting success. Each time you choose to endure rather than quit, you are declaring that nothing will stop you. And once the world recognizes that you cannot be defeated, it has no choice but to yield to your determination. Growth is the reward of those who never stop learning. The moment you decide you know enough, you begin to decline. Because knowledge and skill are never fixed, they either grow or they fade. Those who rise to the top of their field are not content with what they already know. They hunger for new ideas, new techniques, and new perspectives that sharpen their edge. Each day offers an opportunity to learn something that brings you closer to mastery, and the best never allow a single day to pass without feeding their mind. Constant learning requires humility. It is the recognition that no matter how much you achieve, there is always more to discover. This humility protects you from arrogance, which blinds many talented individuals and causes them to stagnate. When you approach life as a student, you remain open to lessons from every person, every experience, and even every mistake. What others dismiss as ordinary, the lifelong learner extracts wisdom from and uses to grow stronger. Those who commit to learning also adapt quickly to change. The world is constantly evolving, new ideas emerge, new tools are created, and new challenges appear. The ones who stop learning are quickly overtaken by those who remain curious and flexible. By sharpening your skills continuously, you ensure that no shift in circumstances can leave you unprepared. The learner stays ahead, not because of luck, but because they refuse to remain the same while everything else changes. The pursuit of knowledge also builds confidence. When you study your craft, when you refine your skills day after day, you no longer approach challenges with hesitation. You step into opportunities knowing that you have prepared yourself through discipline and learning. This preparation creates a quiet confidence that others can see and respect. Over time, the world begins to recognize and reward the one who has committed to growth, because excellence cannot remain hidden. To be the best at anything, you must live with the mindset of a student no matter how high you climb. Each book you read, each mentor you listen to, each lesson you take from experience becomes a stone in the foundation of your greatness. Knowledge is infinite, and mastery is not a destination, but a lifelong journey. When you embrace constant learning, you guarantee that you will never stop rising because your mind, your skills, and your potential will always be expanding. Imagination is the birthplace of every great achievement. Nothing in this world was ever created without first being formed as an idea in the mind of someone who dared to see beyond the present. The buildings that touch the sky, the machines that move nations, the art that inspires generations, all of it existed first in thought before it became reality. To become the best at anything, you must allow your imagination to paint a vivid picture of what is possible, even when the world has not yet seen it. The power of imagination lies in its ability to turn the unseen into the inevitable. When you imagine clearly and hold that image with conviction, it becomes a blueprint for your actions. Every decision, every effort, every step begins to align with the vision in your mind. The clearer and more consistent the picture, the more powerful its pull on your reality. What seems impossible to others becomes inevitable to you because you have already lived it in your imagination. Imagination is also the cure for limitations. Where others see barriers, the imaginative mind sees pathways. Where others see finality, the imaginative mind sees transformation. By allowing yourself to think beyond the ordinary, you create solutions, innovations, and breakthroughs that separate you from the rest. The best in every field are not merely those with skill, but those who dared to think differently, to dream boldly, and to shape reality with the force of their imagination. But imagination is not idle daydreaming. It requires focus and refinement. A vague dream produces vague results, but a precise vision produces clear direction. The great achievers not only imagine success, they refine that vision until it becomes detailed, alive, and undeniable. They rehearse it in their minds, they feel it as though it has already been achieved, and then they act as if it is only a matter of time before the world catches up with what they already see. When imagination is united with action, the extraordinary happens. A vision without effort remains fantasy, but when imagination fuels discipline, persistence, and faith, it becomes unstoppable. To be the best at anything, you must see it first within yourself. Hold that image so strongly that no setback can erase it, no doubt can cloud it, and no failure can weaken it. The mind is the workshop of destiny, and imagination is the tool that shapes its greatest creations. Dreams without action are like seeds never planted. They carry potential, but will never grow into anything real. Many people spend their lives imagining, wishing, and planning, yet they hesitate when the moment comes to take the first step. The difference between those who achieve greatness and those who remain stuck in mediocrity is not always intelligence, talent, or even resources. It is action. The best are the ones who dared to move even when the path was uncertain, even when fear whispered reasons to wait. Decisive action requires courage because every step into the unknown carries risk. There will never be a time when all conditions are perfect, when the road is completely clear, or when the outcome is guaranteed. Those who wait for certainty are doomed to wait forever. The achievers act in spite of doubt, in spite of fear, and in spite of imperfection. They understand that motion creates momentum, and momentum eventually creates mastery. Each action taken sharpens clarity. What may feel uncertain in thought often becomes clearer in motion. The moment you act, you receive feedback, whether success or failure, that guides your next move. Those who act learn faster than those who only think, because reality is the greatest teacher. Even a wrong step moves you closer to the truth, while standing still teaches you nothing. By taking action, you transform your dream from something imagined into something measurable. Hesitation is the enemy of opportunity. Life does not wait for the indecisive. Opportunities appear like doors for only a moment, and then they close for those who fail to walk through them. The best understand that hesitation costs more than failure ever will, because failure can be corrected, but hesitation often leaves you with nothing at all. Bold action, even if imperfect, places you in the arena where success becomes possible. Action also builds confidence. Every time you make a decision and follow through, you strengthen your belief in yourself. The timid mind wonders endlessly, but the decisive mind acts and learns. Over time, this practice of acting boldly makes you fearless because you no longer fear failure. You trust your ability to respond, adapt, and rise again. Confidence is not created in thought, but in action. In the end, decisive action is the bridge that transforms imagination into reality. You may dream of greatness, you may believe in your purpose, you may plan with precision, but until you act, none of it matters. The best in the world are rarely the ones who knew the most or prepared the longest. They are the ones who stepped forward while others stood still. To become the best at anything, you must take bold, decisive action, because only those who move forward ever arrive. Greatness is never measured only by what you achieve for yourself, but by what you contribute to others. The ones who rise to the very top understand that true success is not selfish. It is rooted in service. When your skills, talents, and efforts are directed toward creating value that improves lives, you step into a higher purpose. The world naturally rewards those who give more than they take because people are drawn to those who bring solutions, relief, and inspiration. Service turns ambition into legacy. When you dedicate yourself to serving others, you expand the int of your work beyond your own desires. A person who works only for personal gain may achieve temporary success, but their influence quickly fades. On the other hand, the one who devotes their energy to uplifting people creates ripples that stretch far beyond their own life. Service multiplies success because when you help others rise, they carry your influence with them, and your name becomes associated with the value you brought into their world. Service also refines character. It teaches humility by reminding you that your gifts are not just for yourself, but for the benefit of others. It strengthens gratitude by showing you how even small acts of help can create great changes in someone's life. It builds resilience because when your purpose is larger than yourself, you find the strength to keep going even when your own motivation feels weak. To serve is to anchor your ambition to something enduring, something bigger than comfort, money, or recognition. The greatest leaders, creators, and innovators throughout history were not remembered solely for their achievements, but for the difference their achievements made in the lives of others. The best teacher is remembered not for their knowledge, but for the students they inspired. The best entrepreneur is remembered not for their wealth, but for the problems they solved. The best artist is remembered not just for their talent, but for the emotions and hope they stirred in countless hearts. Service gives meaning to mastery. When you focus on serving others, opportunities come naturally. People are drawn to those who genuinely care, who consistently deliver value, and who dedicate their lives to creating something useful or uplifting. In a world full of self-interest, the one who serves stands out as rare and irreplaceable. And when you become irreplaceable, you become the best at what you do. Service makes you unforgettable because it leaves behind more than results. It leaves behind impact. To become the best at anything, you must ask not only how your work can fulfill your dream, but how it can improve the lives of others. The path to greatness is not about standing above people, but about lifting them with you. When your talent becomes a tool for service, your influence extends far beyond your own life. True mastery is achieved when your success is not only your own victory, but a gift to the world around you. Gratitude is the key that unlocks abundance. When you train yourself to give thanks for what you already have, no matter how small, you shift your mind from scarcity to possibility. A grateful heart sees opportunities where others see lack because it is focused on what is present instead of what is missing. Gratitude transforms your perspective, and your perspective shapes your reality. When you live in appreciation, you draw more reasons to be thankful because the energy you put out is the energy that returns to you. Gratitude also keeps ambition pure. The drive to become the best can sometimes turn into greed, comparison, or endless dissatisfaction, but gratitude grounds you. It reminds you that while you strive for more, you are already blessed in countless ways. This balance prevents you from becoming bitter or restless, and it allows you to enjoy the journey instead of postponing happiness until the destination. Gratitude is not the enemy of ambition. It is the force that gives ambition its joy. When you express gratitude, you strengthen your resilience. Challenges and setbacks become easier to endure when you can still see the good in the midst of difficulty. Even in loss, Gratitude helps you recognize the lessons gained, the wisdom earned, and the strength developed. A grateful person does not deny pain, but they refuse to let pain erase the blessings that remain. This perspective gives you the ability to rise after every fall because you know that even in struggle, life is still giving you gifts. Gratitude also enhances relationships, which are often the foundation of lasting success. People are naturally drawn to those who appreciate them, who acknowledge their contributions, and who recognize their value. A simple word of thanks can build loyalty, trust, and deeper connections, opening doors that talent alone could never unlock. Gratitude turns acquaintances into allies, and allies into lifelong supporters. The best understand that they never rise alone, and they honor every hand that helps lift them higher. Success without gratitude is empty. There are many who achieve wealth, fame, or recognition, yet feel hollow because they never stop to appreciate the blessings they received along the way. Gratitude fills achievement with meaning. It allows you to look at your victories not just as personal gain, but as proof of what is possible when persistence, faith, and divine favor align. Gratitude turns success into fulfillment, and fulfillment is the true reward of being the best. To become the best at anything, gratitude must be woven into every step of your journey. Give thanks for where you started, for where you are, and for where you are heading. Acknowledge the blessings, both large and small, and more blessings will flow into your life. Gratitude does not just make you happier, it makes you stronger, more magnetic, and more prepared for abundance. In a world that often takes everything for granted, the grateful soul shines with a light that cannot be dimmed, and that light guides them to greatness.